So, I've decided to stop making my videos right when I get off graveyard shift because I'm usually too over caffeinated. It's not really over caffeinated when you work graveyard shift, but it's over caffeinated. So when I get home, it's just this thing where I've gone on these rants. Maybe not too energy filled of rants, but just like tell the whole YouTube world everything that's on my mind. No one ever watches the video, so it's not really very important. It's kind of just like a verbal video diary for my own self. Um, but it's kind of interesting. Last night, this customer came in at the gas station, and I don't know, we just started shooting the breeze slightly. And he told me that he had gone on a ride along. No, he asked me, was it very busy? I said, no, it's pretty slow tonight, pretty calm. Last night was a little crazy. There was a homeless guy who kind of was doing this weird stuff and scared some customers. He had like a sweatshirt and he was trying to make it look like he maybe had a gun underneath his sweatshirt, but I could tell that he didn't. But it's still the type of thing where you don't want someone doing that. So I called the police and told them, oh, there's this guy kind of intimidating people, but I didn't want to say to them on the phone that I think that he's trying to make it look like he has a gun underneath his sweatshirt, but I can tell that he doesn't. Because even that is like, if that's what you really believe, I mean, I haven't searched through his clothes, and I wasn't about to either. I didn't want the police showing up with that on their mind, And he said, yeah, he had just gone on a ride along the night before with his godfather, who's a police officer down in San Diego. And we're up in North County, San Diego, in Escondido, on the south side of town, and right by the mall. It's a nice neighborhood, but people get off the freeway. Sometimes people will be like too aggressive getting off the freeway. About things. Some of the people in our own community here get too aggressive with us about masks, but it is different. Like, it's a little threatening at night sometimes. Some of the people from San Diego, Riverside, San Bernardino, LA, it's a different place. We live in a pretty nice community of people who generally just behave appropriately towards each other. Escondido is a nice city. But yeah, there's also this other thing. It's the end of the line of the, not the end of the line, but it's one of the bus stations that people can get off at who are homeless, and they're like, come over and try to get stuff. And it's fine. I mean, I get that they're homeless, and some of them are so nice, We've had a couple problems with those guys get aggressive sometimes, or are off of their psych meds or are on drugs. But then there's guys who are just like, they've been down and out. I help them do little things like charge their cell phone sometimes. I've gotten almost in trouble a couple times letting them charge their cell phone too close to when the next person comes in. I mean, we don't have a hard, fast rule about not letting people charge their cell phones, but when someone looks too shabby and they're just like sitting in there for an amount of time. It's also really freezing outside, so they'll come in and try to stay warm. I feel like I'm sending them out to their death of cold, It's a little rough sometimes. I wish I did have some blankets, like some packing blankets for moving trucks to give them. But it's not a homeless shelter, and we can't attract everybody there. There's already a big enough of a magnet, all the little food snacks inside. So the guy who went on the ride along, that's what I said to him, is that this is what I didn't say over the phone because I didn't want the police showing up alarmed. But I did want them to show up, but then they kind of thought that I was, like, jumping the gun or whatever. And I really wasn't. That's the type of thing where someone needs to go probably to jail, probably to a 5150 or 72, I don't know. They have longer than 5150 cycles. Probably know the guy in county jail, each of the county jails in our county, like, oh, wow, Big Dog's back again or whatever. He was doing this thing where he popped his head in the door and he goes to my coworkers standing right there who didn't quite see him the way I saw him because I had talked with the guy outside and I didn't realize that he had psych issues. I just thought that he was sort of a, I don't know, like maybe former biker type back in the 70s. Old guy with a white beard, right? He's a big dude. Like, I weigh 295 pounds. They call me Tiny. No one calls me Tiny, but that would be one of those types of nicknames. But this guy was like my size, not as athletic. Because guys live on the street, they just get into a different shape of homeless big dude shape. Versus I work, you know, I could lose some pounds, but I just thought he was like a guy who was real down on his luck, maybe for a couple of years. But he had real clean clothes on and stuff, and he sticks his head in the door. Well, he said something to me that made me think that he had been part of like some motorcycle club or something, because I had my neon vest on, and he goes, "Yeah, that's a cool vest. That's the type you put your name on right there." And so, like, seeing, I'm like, "Oh, like, yeah, I am in charge of the property. I do look like I'm the one who's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and make, whatever. Like, I am the sergeant at arms in our little gas station right now." It just felt like this thing, like some old school bikers I know talk that type of way in tones of voice about, "Oh yeah, you got your shit together a little bit." Like, I'm not in their world, but being around people a little bit growing up, who they always say, just keep doing what you do, stay in charge of what you're in charge of. So it was like one of those things. It was cool, but I knew he's homeless and maybe trying to, like, they try to make friends sometimes so they can try to, like, waste more of your time than you want them to waste, because they know people generally don't want to be rude. But he parks his head in the front door and he goes to my coworker right next to me. He goes, "Did you find it? Did you find it? Did you find it? Oh, you're cool. Oh, I don't know about you." Because I was looking at him with this alarm, like what? And I go, "Oh, no, sir. What are you looking for? What can we help you find?" He's like, "A specialized piece of equipment. It's lost it somewhere." He's like looking all around. I was like, "What?" I thought he was trying to, like, fake like he was looking for some weapon or something. He's like, "It's naval warfare equipment, a naval blanket, all this stuff." I'm like, "Are you asking us for a blanket, or are you threatening that you can't find your gun?" Like, I couldn't figure out what this guy was doing. Then I realized, oh, he's totally crazy. And then this girl came in right past him, she had already just come in right when this guy was. I can't remember if she came in first, if he was doing this thing first, but I went to lock the door, and I was afraid because he had his sweatshirt and he was doing this thing like when you stand like this, stand sideways, and like you pull a gun on someone like that type of thing. People keep their hands close to their bodies type of thing. Like when they mug someone and don't want other people who see them to maybe necessarily from a distance know what they're doing type of thing. I've seen cops do it. I've seen criminals do it. Um, but I locked the door and I turned my body sideways. I had this little. I knew it was maybe not. Maybe irrational, entirely irrational, but not. It's just like his body movements were the type of thing where he's trying to, like, make himself seem dangerous. And so I locked the door right in his face, and he started to back away. And I go, "Sir, you need to leave. You need to leave." Just like not quite making eye contact. He walked over to this parking lot, and then he was by our air pump for our tires, and then he starts pretending like his own arm is a rifle. He's like aiming a rifle at me. I was just like, "Fuck, man." So that's what I called the police about, but I didn't want to tell him what exactly he was doing. So that's the type of thing where I just, for different life experience reasons, feel a heightened sense of alarm with some people. But I guess I just wish I wasn't in the scenario always. Graveyard shift's one of those things where you just kind of don't know what people are doing. And usually it's just some sojourner, like people come through, they're on their way back from vacation or like some business trip or to the airport or from the airport. And I get to make them a cup of coffee, talk with them a little bit about their travel or whatever. I try to ask just a couple open-ended questions because a lot of times people don't want to talk. They're just like, all right, guy, I don't want to talk. I think that's fine. Sometimes people want to talk way more than I want to, but I still try to, I stay cordial about it. Um, but it's all kinds of things. So I don't know. That's graveyard shift Friday and Saturday night at the gas station. Um, and I get up, I drink a cup of coffee, try to read some books, but I always have a weird type of headache because I'm now transitioning back. This is my technical first day off because I just slept my whole morning of sleep, and then tomorrow's my day off. By Tuesday, though, when I'm trying to go to work, even though I'm trying to go to work at 2, it's hard for me to feel cognitively all the way perfectly focused because I'm shifting back to swing shifts. So I hate it. I can't quite focus on my reading right now as much as I want to. Uh, when I get my software up and going and making a little bit of money, I'm going to be using my paralegal subcontracting business as my own in-house paralegals who do the work that our software business's attorney asked them to do. But I'm going to be right there. So as the client and the trustee of the paralegal business, I can save myself some money and get a bunch of our privacy policies and things. Like there is actually a lot of legal work to do for tech businesses, but so I'm right at the embryonic stage of both businesses. But that's going to be a cool thing, being able to pay some people to do law work from money I'm making with the tech. Um, Software as a service, documentation forms, business. It's looking like this year I'll have the stuff together. Keep hitting they're not roadblocks, they're just new parts of the project. Like I was troubleshooting something, I found a little bug, and so I have someone looking at it. Usually the bugs I find cost me like $500, but that's maybe all I could have spent for a month and a half anyways. Um, so it just takes a little more time with bootstrapping because I'm bootstrapping with a gas station job. One good thing about the gas station is that, well, I don't know. At first, I thought it was going to be entirely this, that I wasn't going to want to be there longer term. And so I'd work as hard as possible. But now I've gone there, there's things about it that I like. And becoming an assistant manager is something that I'm excited about doing the training. So, I don't know. It's maybe pulled me in longer than I thought I was going to be there, which is good. Also, because there's maybe more little intermediary steps that I wasn't expecting to have to readdress. Something I just paid like $4,000 to have done in 3 parts, to have $1,200 of fixes in it, type of thing. That was the type of thing I wasn't calculating for at first. But that's the reality of how software works. You do have to, once you look at something and someone spent the legitimate time doing it, we're paying them based on project, but also based on time. I mean, it's a kind of a sliding scale. Like if someone does kind of owe you a little bit of a fix, they'll kind of just offer it that way. Or I always just say, like, is it, how much will it cost for you to look at this and fix this and make it do this thing? Because I guess I didn't communicate as well as I needed to. I try to say, I'll only put one ambiguous term in because once in a while they'll say, oh, we'll just fix it, because I don't know whether it's an easy thing or not. And if it's a super easy thing, they will just fix it because that's their professional pride. So until I get all of that in-house, like we're going to start a little office where we have like 2 programmers, a server manager, and then that's probably it. Someone who is always maintaining the servers, and then a couple of people who are dealing with the code. And then I'll be working on what the conceptuality of it is, what the marketing wording is, and working with a couple paralegals. So documentation forms is why I went to the gas station. Now the gas station in its own right is becoming more of a thing, but it is still why I went there, so I could keep working on my software. So I don't know. I plan on, after a year or so of getting all these little bugs worked out and getting into the black, because my overhead is only like is only going to be about $1,500 at first, just for the code, without employee payroll, that type of thing. You need more, but when I can get over what I'm paying out of my gas station paycheck just for the holding costs, that's going to be a real big milestone. And that doesn't take much. I mean, I'm working to build the average monthly recurring revenue from a few different things. We're doing the occupation forms itself. The contact form has different parts to it that replace maybe an automatic email series program, a CRM program. We have an integration to Zapier. It itself is the conditional logic contact form. We're making a document selection and completion utility. And then we're also offering HIPAA compliant email with Office 365 coming up here shortly through a Rackspace reseller. And the other thing we're doing is MyReal Mobile has given us a dealer status, so we can connect people with them. And we're going to be able to take the payment and do some of the setup, and then there'll be a different tech service number with those guys. But what a PBX is a phone number where it's a computer program online, and you set up all your everything, and then there's line 1, press, and it goes to whatever phone number you forward it to, or you can pay for a second line that is just a line from that phone number, and then you install the app on your smartphone. So say you have 10 people in 10 different countries, even 10 different states, but wherever, with as long as they have an internet connection, when someone calls your phone number and presses their line, it goes to their phone, and when they call from that phone app, it shows as coming from your phone number too. You can really put together a smooth team with this stuff. So we're going to have add-ons for the Office 365 with HIPAA compliant email as well, so you can get as many email accounts as you want. Or we are going to do also just email. Rackspace has a thing for that. So they'll be HIPAA compliant with Office 365 and without Office 365. So you can have a multitude of emails and a multitude of lines on your phone line. So you can set up any type of business system you want to from wherever, based with your CRM and also your contact form, and integration with Zapier. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, just the core basics. So it's not the 100% overall all-in-one software suite offering, but nothing is. That's the whole thing. So we're sticking to a few couple core things based on our expert law system utility, where someone enters their information into your contact form, but based on what they select in the checkboxes, that contact form asks a different next question, and based on those answers, it will select and then complete different documents that are either internal only or external, like sent back to them or sent just to you. So you have maybe half your work done for your intake. So it's a thing that it takes time to set up, but then you save a lot of time and energy. So I just got into it after my paralegal program at the University of San Diego. So I'm hoping within the year to replace my gas station paychecks payment of our overhead with a few subscribers. I think we only probably need 100 to really get beyond just those minimums. Like maybe I could make it with 30 subscribers if someone needed enough emails. You can also get a WordPress website with SiteLock installed. Also, the internet security, that's excellent as well. I sell ID Shield, but that's something I'm going to talk with people about. If you're on the internet all the time, you want to have your identity monitored, because putting yourself out there, you can become a target. That's just the modern world. So you want to monitor your identity and monitor your credit reports, and then have coverage for any damage done. And then there's unlimited coverage with ID Shield for actually doing the law work and everything to restore your identity to a safe condition. Yeah, there's that. So that's just a thing that I have to talk with people about. But it's a cool thing that I'm glad I have. And that's it. So I'm pretty happy about it. But graveyard shift is something I'm going to be happy to be done with. When they find another employee to work my 2 graveyard shifts and my 3 swing shifts, I'm going to start the assistant manager training. my boss, when she gave me the recommendation and they hired me on for the assistant manager training program a few weeks ago, said to me, she said, "Oh, you're not really a morning person, are you?" Because I had made some mistakes in the morning and requested to be on swing shift, but I don't think she thought of it as, maybe I'm more extreme of a person who really isn't good at switching sleep schedules, like for graveyard and swing shift. And I said, no, it's the opposite. I've been up at 3 a.m. for 20 years. Ever since college, I've been up at 3 or 4 a.m. every single day, almost every single day, every job I've had required me to get up that early. And this is like, I feel like a dingbat here because we're doing the type of thing where I can get tongue-tied at the cash register, right, and just look like a stuttering idiot sometimes when I know everything that we're talking about. But it's because I'm on these 2 graveyard shifts that I just have as much caffeine in me as I have to keep my eyes open, and that's it, coupled with the sleep issues. So I don't know. And then COVID started a month into it, so I've just been only at home and only at the gas station. I've gone to a couple of stores. I walk through Kit Carson Park, but that's about it. Like when I get out of bed on Sundays today, like I'll walk down the hill, maybe down the street, and walk back up. But I don't even go all the way through Kit Carson Park at first. I just feel like a gimp when I wake up. Um, but that's part of it every day. It's good to be off work for 2 days. I mean, a day and a half, whatever it is. But yeah, I'm going to be really stoked when I start pulling in a couple of small business subscribers and offer a whole suite of services to them. It's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. So, alrighty, that's my video for this week. Thanks.